Hello guys. I hope you all are doing well. This is the um call it midweek update and yeah, see where exactly the market is heading. Wanted to remind all of you that anything that I'm mentioning it in this video is not a financial advice. It's just a way of how exactly I do review the market. Anything that you want to take a risk on it in the market, just make sure that you are doing your own research when it's coming to these kind of things. So yeah, I wanted to start before we're gonna start talking about BTC. I wanted just like really to talk about dollar because in my opinion, the coming move that we're gonna have it on the dollar, it's gonna be the one that we're gonna be deciding what exactly would be the direction that it's gonna affect the rest of the markets. For me, um, dollar is still moving sideways in a way that the momentum is up, whether like let's say you like it or not, on a daily time frame, whether it's like let's say on a 4 hours time frame, um, move up, consolidation, move up, consolidation, move up, consolidation. And this has nothing to do with bull flags or all these kind of things. I don't trade bull flags. I don't trade cup and handle. I don't trade all these kind of patterns. I do trade like, let's say, certain levels in regards to the liquidity that I do market on the chart, and that's all. And yeah, that's just the way of how exactly I do mark things and I do play things. Now, for me, the dollar from the moment that, as an example, we started approaching these areas and we started reclaiming the yearly pivot, it's just I started looking for the price to move to the upper side. Now, how exactly this got navigated? Pretty much when we started the year, we moved a little bit to the upper side, expanded fully to the downside, coming back into the yearly pivot, price started shifting to the upper side. By the way, at some stage, this could get retested, you know. We will see if this would be something that we might get it, something like this. It's very possible, by the way, to get something like this within the coming few days. We will see how exactly it's going to play out. But I wanted really just to highlight things here when it's coming to these levels and just to look into things in a good structure. For me, as long as we are holding this region, then for me, like it's just things are looking fine. If we started losing this area, then you will be looking like, let's say, for some of this imbalances and some of this liquidity to be taken out. The way how exactly things are moving in the dollar, it's just still it's a structure like that we have it, that it's looking fine as a consolidation and all these kind of things, but it's important really to hold these levels, because if we started shifting lower, then you're going to start coming into this liquidity area that it's coming here. As long as we are holding this, then I think things are looking absolutely fine. All right, and that's where still I would prefer to see the price still moving a little bit to the upper side. Now, what this is going to reflect on the rest of the market. Well, if I'm looking at Euro USD, Euro USD price came again into the last quarterly level. We saw another bounce, which is usually that's the normal thing. Like let's say you see it when you are approaching like let's say major levels, like the last quarter, low. But we will see how exactly we will be closing this quarterly candle. And this quarterly candle, it's going to give us like pretty much a clean path, whether we are looking for major reversals to move toward like let's say this area, or major like let's say drops to continue to lower levels. And try to understand here where dollar, it's on an area where exactly if dollar is gonna fall, Euro USD, you'll be expecting it to start seeing some recovery. For me, this is more of a weakness than like the structure itself. The price came and pretty much like let's say move came to took the liquidity, second high, the third high, and then after that started coming threatening this area one more time. If we started losing this area, then you will be expecting these levels to be taken out at least. So that's a kind of path. I don't think that within this week we will see the move, but I'm willing, to react to it, like let's say in a good way. Now, yesterday, because of the FOMC, we got this move to the upper side, to the downside, sorry. And usually, like let's say any imbalances, like let's say to the upper side, you just recover it again. But the thing that you really need to understand here, that it all depends on what exactly the price is doing from here. you started losing this, then you will move with it to the downside, and dollar is going to continue to the upper side. That's usually the case. Yeah, we saw some kind of price action and the nice price action that we put it here, but just be careful because the structure, it's not really looking like too strong, you know. We will see what's going on. We will see what exactly the price is going to do. We do have still a major area that it's coming here. Could we like still see like, let's say, a base out here on the sweep of this level and then a reclaim and move to the upper side? Very possible. My expectations is just like maybe some sideways move before they're going to give up on this and they're going to start moving to the downside. Now this, it's gonna put us also in some other like, let's say, directions where the dollar is moving up. Then in that time we are looking like, let's say, for lower levels to affect like, you know, gold, Nasdaq, S&P, and the rest of the market. And definitely we do have a major area that it's coming at around these levels when it's coming to the S&P and the Nasdaq. And this is an area that I will look extremely carefully at what we will print at around these levels once we will take the lows. Why? Because this is the year previous week, year previous quarter. We didn't take, by the way, the highs. We didn't take the lows, right, on the quarter. So we need just to be careful on what exactly we are printing here, because this can definitely give us some kind of base out and then start, you know, pushing further to the upper side. And by the way, still, you can also come and take these lows and then after that continue to the upper side. So we will see what exactly the market is going to give us. Same thing that it's coming here, by the way, on the gold chart. I'm not really worried about this candle. Usually gold, like, you know, it sets these kind of candles. It doesn't mean that it's stopping or anything. In fact, you might see some kind of a recovery into the next quarter. Depends on what exactly the market is going to decide from the structure. But the most important thing that I do care about it for now, it's the dollar, you know, because of where exactly you reach on the chart. That's the whole thing. And if as an example, we do have this and we are looking at this, like, you know, into this kind of structure, sorry, you need just to be careful on really what the market is putting for you here in regards to the structure and how exactly things could play out, you know. This, it's going to affect the rest of the market. That's usually the case, you know. From here, we can go and also, like, let's say, view the S&P aligned with Nasdaq. This is also a major area for the S&P to hold, and this is another major area for the S&P to hold. So would we get this kind of drop and correction before that we're going to start reversing to the upper side? That, I think, it would be a healthy structure to look into it. Now, in regards to this week, pretty much like, let's say, played really in a beautiful way from the weekend. Looked into this, not really looking to short BTC unless we reach these areas. I didn't short BTC. I didn't, like, you know, I didn't get the chance. It didn't play the way how I wanted it. Usually I do like to see some kind of a clean deviation into this. Well, I didn't. Like, we knew that she's gonna go lower, whether you are in a short or you're not in a short. That really doesn't matter. The most important thing is not to look into this. But what exactly we captured is definitely the gold trade, where exactly you just lose this level and you just tumble to the downside. And this is where exactly we are heading on gold. Still a lot of things that I'm going to be covering it for you on gold. But just remember the last update that I gave it to you. The moment that you are losing the 5,088 is the moment that pretty much you would be looking for the price to continue lower. So we lost it here and we closed the daily candle also under it. And then things started just immediately moving to lower levels and started breaking to the downside. Very interesting area, definitely on gold at around these levels. We will see what's exactly it's going on. This is more of a big range, just like too big of a range, and too just like a lot of distraction here. So yeah, that's something we will look into it. So that's mainly, like, let's say, you know, the direction where I'm looking at things. In regards to BTC, this is a major area for BTC to hold. We will see what exactly they will print at around these levels. Today is Thursday and tomorrow is Friday. If they will start giving up on this area, then pretty much you will be expecting definitely BTC to come and to end up, like, you know, sweeping lower levels. But this is a major area for BTC to move. Will we get this kind of you know, a move and then a bounce, and we decide within tomorrow and next week what would be the next play? It's very possible. Not much for me, like, let's say, really to talk about it here, other than be careful. If we started losing this area and this area, then in that time more pain it's going to come, like, let's say, to the downside. As I'm telling you, like, you just like it's in an area where exactly like it's not a clean direction. That was a clean play. From here to here, that's literally what I was looking at it for now. Is just be careful and just like be patient till we're going to develop more price action, so we can look into things in a proper way. But I'm just trying here really, like, let's say, to put for you some kind of a structure, just not to rush anything when it's coming to the market or to make any kind of a judgment. I still do believe that the next quarter also it's going to bring for us a decent opportunities and decent plays all across the board. And yeah, I mean, fine, they can even come to take the lows, and then from the lows at somewhere at around these levels, we can still also, like, trap short and then start recovering to the upper side. It's nice that BTC cleaned some of the areas that we do have it here, means that the next move that you will get it from around these levels, it might even give you this kind of a move, which is like, it's instead of a 20% to the upper side, 25% to the upper side, you move in a little bit more of like a kind of price action. That was a 20% move to the upper side. It was a nice one, a clean one, and it was just like, a solid one too. So yeah, I'm not really rushing anything into this. We'll see how exactly things it's gonna play from here, and upon that we can decide things accordingly. Still, by the way, on nat gas and oil, just like, honestly, on nat gas, I don't play it like, let's say, on leverage. I do just rely more on just like having ETF on it. But still, if you would be looking like, let's say, on oil, and I mean, oil still it's looking fine. Oil is still it's looking fine. I'm not really like, let's say, looking into things just to roll down just in this way. It's still looking fine. Till next week, we see how exactly things it's gonna move in regards to oil. But for the time being, if you will be looking at it, then I don't think, like, let's say, that it's bad in terms of a structure and in terms of how exactly it's playing and all these kind of things. So for me, it's not really like, let's say, looking at all in a bad way at all. We'll see what exactly they will decide, like, let's say, to take it forward in the coming few days. But this kind of a structure, for me, I think they will come and they will recover this area, and then we will see what's going on. It's not too clear. It's just more of a consolidation. But if you will think on how exactly they moved within this week and what exactly the structure that you get it within this week, it's a simple, clean structure where the price moved and swept, like, let's say, swept the Friday high, swept the Friday low, and still it's holding sideways. I'm gonna tell you a simple play and a simple structure. As long as oil is holding this, then it's fine. If it started losing this, then yeah, that's a clean play where exactly it might just start tumbling to the downside. But for now, yeah, it's just like, for me, it's looking fine, and it's looking like more of a sideways with a pressure to the upper side, especially with all what's exactly it's happening in the war. Still no clear direction on what's exactly it's going on. So that's the way how exactly I'm looking at it, structurally, on what exactly to expect in the market and how you will be looking at things. But yeah, just make sure, like, you really, like, just play the market in a very careful way, and you don't want just to rush anything on what exactly could come next. BTC is the 69.4 that you want, like, let's say, to look at it. You want to see also how they are closing the daily candle around it, and upon that we can decide what could be the next from here. Um, just remember, like, let's say, with what exactly I was talking to you about it, that you don't want really to hold into swing trades here. Like, the market's not really giving you a kind of signs that, look, we are in a swing direction, or we are in this or that. No, just like try to play things in a very smart way. And you don't want just like, to do anything like, let's say, crazy when it's coming to the market. You don't want just to rush anything. You don't want just like, to play things when it's coming like to major swings or doing all these kind of things. You are not in a need to do that. The point from here is just to outsmart the market. How? By playing small plays, try to play it like, let's say, in a nice structural way. And yeah, that's the only thing that I'm looking at it, honestly, in the coming few days and few weeks. This week pretty much played the way how exactly I was expecting it to play, between BTC, between Nasdaq and the S&P, because Nasdaq and the S&P, we were looking like, let's say, for the bounces to the upper side, and then after that to tumble to the downside. Gold also, it's played in a nice way and a beautiful way, for losing just the levels, and then after that just capitulated to the downside. Still Dixie, it's not too clear. I'm still marrying the same idea that I would favor seeing Dixie moving to the upper side. I'm still on the same exact direction and the same exact idea, you know. And yeah, this is just what's not clear. It's more of like, let's say, you know, we'll see what exactly they will mark at around these levels. My expectations it's to see it moving to the upper side, aligned with NatGas. And yeah, we'll see how exactly we will close the quarter. We will close also this week, by the way, because this week can change at any time. Tomorrow is Friday. Usually Thursday, by the way, you don't get too much of a move in it. You might see with BTC moving to the upper side with this sweep still to see some kind of a recovery to the upper side. So it might happen because it's just like Thursday. And yeah, when we will see on Friday what will be the case and what we will be getting, like let's say in the coming few days. That's all on what exactly I'm looking at it, like let's say all across the board. The week, like with every single weekly plan, things it gets clearer and clearer, and your exposure, like let's say to the market, it's still like let's say, you know, a nice small exposure into the market where you get something like let's say that you make it on weekly basis instead of just wiping out the whole wallet, marrying a bias that it's not going to get you anywhere. The whole idea behind diversifying between reading the dollar, between reading the gold, the oil, and also the risky assets, it's a good mix. By the end, it's not that it's going to be working with you in the same way of how exactly you are looking at things. It's not going to be like, let's say, that every single week it's going to work with you in a nice way and in a good way. No, it's not going to be the case. But the most important thing of what I do care about it here is that what's exactly the kind of exposure that you are getting it in the market. And are you diversified? And are you looking like, let's say, into things in a nice and a solid way or no? That's the whole part, you know? So try to have that kind of mentality and that kind of a mix within what exactly it's going on here. And upon that, we can decide things accordingly on what could be the next play. Stay safe, and yeah, we'll see what exactly it's going on. I'm gonna keep you updated on Twitter on what exactly I see within tomorrow. Might be like, you know, a nice day, like let's say to trade just like, you know, short trades and quick trades. We'll see what exactly it's gonna present in the market, and upon that we can look into things accordingly. As I said, for today, really there is really nothing like let's say on any kind of a direction that I'm taking it like let's say blindly. I would love to wait and see what exactly the day it's gonna close and how exactly things it's gonna play out within tomorrow. Remember, tomorrow is Friday. Usually we are forming some kind of a price action where, you know, usually it gives us some nice clean direction for what could play into next week. For today, just because it's Thursday, you know, usually like let's say on Thursday, if I do look into things, usually I do look like let's say into, you know, more of scalp trades, you know, scalp trades where you either like let's say rely on Asia ranges between the highs and the lows, and if we lose it, like let's say you continue with it to lower levels, but you don't expect too much of an aggressive moves to happen, like let's say within the day. I mean, BTC definitely can go lower, but I'm just saying that it's also can just base out here, you know, and then start seeing some kind of a recovery to the upper side. I'm not really interested in just like looking and rushing anything, like let's say into the longs. As long as the price is holding under this, I have no interest in it. We could just come and sweep some of the liquidity from here, and then up after that, like on the reclaim of the 69.4, and preferably also not to see like let's say a 4 hours closing under it. Then in that time, yeah, that could be something that we might look into it, but we are not in a rush for anything. The week played in a nice beautiful way, so I'm just on a low key when it's coming like let's say to a big exposure, especially like let's say end of the week. Things are shaky, guys, so you need just like really to be careful on how exactly you play things, and just be patient. That's all what I'm telling you. Just be patient. Try to play the market in a smart way, and don't get like let's say crazy exposures to the market. And things should always be like let's say in your favor, and should give you like let's say, you know, beautiful moves, whether it's to the upper side or to the downside. As long as you are really carrying the market or trading the market in both ways, then things should be absolutely good with you guys. Stay safe, keep your exposure to the minimum when it's coming to the market. Don't trust it too much. I promise you, you just look at things sometimes, like let's say that, look, I'm getting like something that it's looking like too bullish, and then you just give it like let's say 1 or 2 days, just because you married the bias from here, and you will be looking as an example, oh, this is like a consolidation, and yeah, fine, but you don't know if the trend reversed from here or no, and that's where exactly this could happen. And if this could happen, you don't want just like really looking like let's say on every single sweep from here on a long, because you can burn yourself and you can burn your wallet. So just to try to look into things just in a little bit different way and see how exactly things it's going to play out, and upon that we can always get the best, like let's say, mark and exposure to the market. Wish you all the best, guys, and we'll catch up with you over the weekend with the new weekly review, and hopefully it's gonna bring for you some nice moves and some nice profits to make. Wish you all the best. Cheers. Bye bye.